Hello, I'm Mortgagee from mths and welcome to a special housing report. Today we thought we'd look in a bit more depth at the housing market because of what we've seen with the building consents slump yesterday and also the crash of $1.1 billion worth of property financiers in the last 8 days. Mark Hodgson from Hanover Finance told us last week he was seeing a systematic collapse in the property development and investment market and in the financing vehicles around that. And in particular, he's talking about finance companies and mortgage trusts. And we've seen in the last 8 days, Hanover Finance, Canterbury Mortgage Trust, the Guardian Trust Mortgage Fund, and also Totra, First Mortgage, fall over, in part because they're all exposed to the property market and in particular to residential property investors and the resort development market. We look closely at the Mortgagee sales listings numbers that come out through realestate.co.nz and trademe.co.nz. We've been monitoring them since March, and you can see here from this chart that they've risen quite sharply in the last couple of months. In fact, they hit a record in the last week. Now, this is still a relatively small percentage of total listings, about 0.3%. However, that's up from 0.2% just 4 months ago. Now let's have a look at the total listings to give us an idea of how much property is on the market and trying to be sold. We can see that the total listings have actually fallen 6%, or about 7,000 since peaking in April. Remember, a lot of property investors put their houses on the market in January, February, March, expecting to sell quickly, try to get their money out at the top of the market. Of course they couldn't, they all rushed for the exits at the same time. And that meant that after a couple of months they decided to pull their houses off the market for sale and put them back onto the market for rent. Let's have a look then at the number of rental listings on TradeMe and real estate. And you can see that's up quite sharply, about 60% in the last 3 months, or about 6,600. No coincidence then that the number coming off the market for sale was 7,000, the number going onto the market for rent about 6,600. Seems to be a close correlation there, and if you look at the numbers for rents, they've actually fallen in the last few months to the end of May, in part because of this increase in volume coming onto the market. There may also be some seasonal factors there as well. And now finally we look at the word motivated. We're trying to work out how keen people are to sell their properties. So we search for the phrase motivated on realestate.co.nz and trademe.co.nz. And that shows that's risen in the last few months, although it's starting to be replaced by other words like urgent, must sell, and desperate. When you combine all those numbers together, for urgent, must sell, desperate, and motivated, you get a total of 7% of total listings. And we'll be monitoring that figure over the coming months. I'm Mortgagee for interest.co.nz. That was a special housing report.